Hello everyone and welcome back to, well, I guess this is the first episode of Little Cup Wi-Fi Season 2. I did notice there's an audio glitch with my draft analysis, so you probably don't know too much about what happens apart from what Mons. Sorry for the excessively long video with no sound then. But either way, I played Panther in my week 1. And yeah, the way it goes is, ooh, let's see what goes. Okay, so here it is. Here is the matchup that happened. Sorry for the poor quality, but this is just how it got recorded. Yeah, so Panther's probably the most difficult matchup, I think, both team-wise and player-wise I've got this season. Probably one of the more difficult people, at least, anyway. And they have a very scary team, which, as you can see right there, involved Mienfu Drill Burr, and then Omanite, La Vesta, Chin Chow Budgie, and then they had Webs and Natu as well on the side, and a couple of other things I weren't too worried about. But this is, I kind of expected them to run Natu over something like Budgie, and I think that's where I kind of went a little bit wrong, because Budgie, as you'll come and see, is probably one of the worst mistakes in prep, at least, for me. I really should have prepared a little bit better to deal with Budgie, or at least played better in the early game to get rid of it. But yeah, so what I've got here is Glamiel, Staryu, Skiddo, Scraggy, Picky Peck, and Fanpy. Obviously, I got Fanpy through a trade and a drop from like Nose Pass and Shieldon, so I didn't actually originally have Fanpy, but it's a clutch mon, so I have to have them. Someone stole my Seal, evil person. I hope you do well with it, because Seal is the god. But yeah, I did leave behind this week my own Webs in Spinnerack, because although it kind of had a good matchup, I didn't really want them bounced back in my face. Although Rebs really would have actually helped here, ironically, for a few reasons, purely because they didn't bring Natu themselves or their own Webs. But yeah, so I left Spinnerack behind. I also left behind Hoppip, but that's not really a surprise. I didn't really want to risk it too early on, especially with like someone this strong. I wanted to get someone who wouldn't be really prepared for Hoppip. So I left that behind. I also left behind... see, I love my own team here, obviously. I left behind Tepig. I didn't think it really had the best matchup with the double water types sticking around here. So, and then obviously something like Drillbur. Not the most fun thing for me to do. So I left behind Tepig as well. And then I left behind... I don't know, I can't remember. See, obviously I know my team so well at this point. My other tier 2, whatever that is, something like that. Yeah, it's not important because I didn't bring it. Yeah, so I left behind those. Obviously this is not the best. It's going to be a very difficult matchup. I'm going to pre-warn you to say I think I played quite poorly at the start. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we start off, and I'm thinking, okay, well, what's the best way to deal with their potential leads? I'm going to probably go and send out... he sends out La Vesta here, and I send out Picky Peck, I believe? Is that Picky Peck? Oh no, Fanpy here. Okay, yeah. I was thinking, okay, the chances are he's going to send out something like Mienfu or La Vesta, or which basically speaking is or Chin Chow. Chin Chow can't Volt Switch on Fanpy, so they'll probably Scold, and I can live one of those and EQ back, which is going to hurt, if not kill it. If they leave La Vesta, well, they're probably going to U-turn. I can take that anyway, and I can, either set hazards or get a free knockoff on something. And if they leave Mienfu, they're probably going to go for a fake out, and this is probably the best thing in my team that wants to take one of those. And that's right, because they kind of left with La Vesta, and of course, speaking, they're just going to go for a U-turn here. And I'm just going to fire off a knockoff. Like I said, that's kind of my best play here, knowing that they're not going to stay in. Didn't really want to risk. I could have dropped rocks out there, and I probably should have, but getting a knockoff on this thing really helps weaken it. But then I'm in a tricky situation, because the Violet's gone, which is great, but I can't stay in on this Budgie. They're probably going to hazard stack me, but I can't risk it. So I go into Scraggy thinking, okay, they're probably going to drop like Stun Spore on me after they drop some hazards or something. But they go straight for a Leaf Storm, and I'm like, what? They didn't. This is annoying. But it puts me in Berry Juice range, and obviously means that they're going to switch out, which is actually not too bad for me, because not only do they not have hazards up, it means that I can go ahead and go for a substitute here on the switch. I was thinking this is going to be a great idea, but they go into La Vesta, and I'm thinking, okay, right, they're definitely going to have to U-turn here. That's the only way to break the sub. I can go for a simple DD here. This was a mistake, though. I really should have just gone straight for a knockoff or a Drain Punch here, because this U-turn is going to break my sub, and this is kind of where I misplay, because obviously I should have attacked here rather than setting up. Not that that's too bad, but it's what happens next. So they're going to go into Drillbur, and they went into this quite quickly, and I thought, okay, this is definitely Scarfed, but at the same time I thought they'd maybe overplay a little bit here. This was a mistake. I thought maybe I'd outspeed. Obviously that's dumb in me thinking. But I was at +1. I had yeah, no, I think they outsped every single time, purely because they're quite fast. I really should have switched out here into something like Skiddo, but obviously taking this EQ means that I've just lost Scraggy straight off the bat, and this is a potential win con I've just lost, plus Intimidate pressure. This is bad. So I go into Skiddo here thinking, yeah, there's nothing they can... go into Pick-a-Peck here. I can fire for Bullet Seed, or I can just go for a U-turn. If I fired off Bullet Seed here, that was the best case scenario. I really should have done, but I did a U-turn, thinking it's a safe play. Yeah. Okay, I guess I've got to go for Skiddo, for Fampi here, because I can take the Scold, and I can go for an EQ. They're not risking it. I thought, well, the way it is, I thought they'd be locked into Choice Scarf, because that's the best play they could have done. But I make a cute double here, thinking, yeah, they're definitely going to bring in the Grass type Budgie, and I can go into Skiddo for free, completely forgetting that this is also a Poison type and get Sludge Bomb. But I do normally live 2 of those and then die into the 3rd, but unfortunately I got crit poisoned, which means that Skiddo is not going to be walling anything, and instead of going for a safe play, I decided to hit the Rock Slide instead, because I thought that they would switch into La Vesta on that. So that's really, really bad for me. Budgie is becoming an increasing problem, and I go into this here, basically deciding to sack it off, because I completely forget that Glameow has a possibility, but I didn't want to risk the Leaf Storm on anything, and I've got pretty much nothing for this now. I go for the Ice Shard, and it just misses out on the kill, which is probably the worst thing imaginable for me, because then I lose Fampi, and now I'm like, I'm just gonna lose 6-0 at this point. I'm down 6-4, and my Skiddo is basically dead anyway, so it might as well be 6-3. I go for the Bullet Seed. It covers the most options, but unfortunately it does basically mean that La Vesta gets a free switch in here because I'm Scarfed, which is basically I had to be Scarfed. He knew I had to be Scarfed. Is the only way I beat a lot of his team. But obviously, yeah, he gets a free switch into La Vesta here. I have to go, what's my sack? Drop the Skiddo, it's the best thing I've got. Like, I'm going down straight away. I mean, I've weakened him to 5. They decided to go for a switch here. I was really surprised. They didn't U-turn, they didn't Flare Blitz, they just did that. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm dead either way. They outspeed, they're probably Scarfed at this point. And they go for an Ice Shard, Ice Beam even, and that's annoying because obviously I'm in a very difficult position down 5-3. I bring in Glameow because I get the fake out, which, don't mind, I still think they're kind of Scarfed at this point. So I go into this, they go into Mienfu. Obviously, they want to fake me out. And I'm like, haha, that does a lot. It's a crit. It's really good here. But they're going to fake me out. I really shouldn't have stayed in here because that did a lot. And it's going to come into play later, that damage. Annoyingly, but I do get a facade straight away off here if I want to, which will kill the Mienfu. And they decide to, as predictably speaking, go into the only thing that actually resists Glameow, in Ammonite, which I prepared specifically with EVs, with a lot of special attack investment, to OK this with HP Grass. So down goes that Ammonite, and suddenly Panther's probably shitting themselves. Not to be rude, but they don't actually have a resist to Glameow. The best chance they've got is probably faking me out to death, and I realise this, I can't stay in on a fake out. So they've got two options to get rid of it. One of them's with fake out Mienfu, and the other one is with the Jobber even. So they're going to fake out here, and that's alright, I guess. I just fire off a Psychic here. I think that's the safest thing I can do. I gathered that they'd be Water Absorb rather than Volt Absorb, because I don't have any electric types or anything other than Staryu, which really spams electric moves. And this is the worst thing that could happen right now, because coming into it and hitting off that Berry Juice, I started to panic, because suddenly it wasn't Scarfed, which was dealable with, because I can just come in or whatever, I can kind of take a hit and smack him. Suddenly it's now back to full health. Fake Out's not going to finish it off, Quick Attack's not going to finish it off, I'm in trouble. So this is terrible. Apparently they didn't want to be a Scarf Chinchou, they wanted to be Scarf Jawber instead. I'm like, okay, well, I have to sack. I'm just going to go for a T-Bot here. I really should have just clicked Psychic again, to be honest, because they would have done the same to each other. Psychic might have actually smacked him to death anyway. They're going to fake out here. It's not only a crit, but either way I was putting into Berry Juice range, so it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, oh well. But I do manage to fire off a Psychic here and kill this Mienfu. So basically Glameow is looking terrifying for them. I can still win this just if I get rid of that Drawber, but Drawber is a massive problem here, and Chinchou is too, because it's on just way too much health for me. So I have to basically pick, do I sack something? What's the best way of getting through this? And I basically agreed that basically giving up my Staryu is probably the thing I had to do over Picky Peck, because I thought Picky Peck had the better option to win. So obviously Staryu goes down there. I got some damage off, but it probably wasn't beneficial. Here's another mistake that I make, or rather, I go into this trying to get fake out damage off. I'm pretty sure I've lost at this point. I need a speed tie from Picky Peck to win, but I put it this way because I go for a fake out here. To do that, obviously I'm going to die anyway to like Life Orb pretty soon. So the way I see it is, if I get fake out, it's a quick attack here. I put it in range of Brave Bird, and I think everything bar the Chinchou dies to Brave Bird. So I knew I'd kind of lost at this point. But what I really should have done here is I should have gone into Picky Peck and sacked that to the Rock Slide that's about to come in, and then I don't think if I didn't get faked out early, I would have had the HP to basically come in and fake out this again, quick attack it to death, and then I basically would have been okay. But because I didn't, I quick attack here because I can't outspeed it otherwise, and it takes it to red. I'm down to 1 HP. Surprised I even lived that. But to be honest, if they missed that Rock Slide, I might have been okay, to be honest. But no, that's it. No, because I wouldn't have been able to kill both Larvesta anyway. And now I've got to win a speed tie to the differential by 1 or 2. And I lose the speed tie, so not particularly the best here. Not the best start to a season, particularly. I'm going to lose to Panther 3-0. It wasn't the worst game in the world. I did misplay quite a bit early on, but that's nothing I can really do. Yeah, they played phenomenally, especially with the Budgie and the Chinchou. Scarf Jawber was definitely a great bring. Yeah, I don't really I don't really know what I could have done better apart from maybe bringing Spinarak and having the webs, but obviously I didn't want to risk it with their own webs and Nati. Even though I had things like Shadow Sneak and the extra priority would have helped. But yeah, I think losing Skiddo and Fampi so early on to a couple of misplays and the Scraggy too just really set it back. I tried my best. I didn't get 6-0'd, so that's something. I hope you all enjoyed. We will be back with Pasha next week. I believe we face Slick Panther. So we've got a very good matchup and record against Slick in the past. So hopefully it'll be good. And we'll see you next time.